absolutely dead. You can probably put the thing in announcements now as well. I give it a couple of minutes and then start up the stream properly in terms of saying hello and everything like that. I'm also going to turn my voice down and turn my phone down so no one can hear my voice echoing. Just keep the YouTube up. That should be fine. Oh my god, my desk is so cluttered. Holy shit. Alright. People are starting to join. Second stint. Me and Ryan, you'll hear Ryan's voice on the stream very shortly. Two of the guys that just did the 2 hours that most of you that are watching this will have just watched. And yeah, we are aching. I think that's the best way to say that. I'm gonna regret that when I wake up in the morning. But to those who are joining now, welcome to the second stint, the fast lobby, if you will, the lobby that's going to decide it all. The first race, people were rather kind of strewn out, this, that, the other. It ended with Fracas ended up winning the entirety of the first race. For those who are just tuning in now and didn't watch the first one, that's currently where we stand. But we are also waiting for a couple of things before we get to go driving properly. So, in terms of who's in this lobby, and for those who watched the first stream, you'll recognize some of the card liveries, maybe identify a couple of the teammates. So we have BX, who is going to start on pole position, if I can speak English, because of Claus disconnecting very, very early on into the first race, and quite frankly, BX is just driving for the sake of driving, which is commendable in its own right. You got Major with Supercracker. Those two are teammates. Yeah, right. I'm not entirely sure what team Yeah Right is actually on. Got the Porsche Group 4. Yeah, I can't remember who in the first lobby drove the Porsche, admittedly. Oh, yeah, Right's got a mountain and a half to climb back then. An entire lap. Larry got lapped in the first lobby. Capale, teammates with Juho, he's got a long way back as well, and apparently a severe lack of pace. Ross has, well, Ross trying to carry Skittles after Skittles could have had 9th, could have probably had 8th as well, and kind of shot himself in the foot, bust up chicane about 5-ish laps from the end, ending 10th. As a whole, he needs 12 seconds, I believe it is, on CMP to catch any sort of position. CMP, my teammate, from, in the second race, I came 9th. I could have done better, but very much hampered by my own inability to qualify on Monday night. Those who watched the qualifying session will know that I finished about roughly off about 3 seconds off any sort of pace. Elite, who's on a team with Moose, I believe. They looked very similar in livery. Moose coming above me. I think it was about 18 seconds the gap there. So a comfortable gap between him and the next guy down. He's got about 2 or 3 seconds to catch on the dude, and I think Tap in the Vantage as well, Well, funny enough, the next two cars in the list, dude, teammates with Terty, and from the first lobby, and Tap teammates with Dr. Ersty from the first lobby. Jill has got teammates. Well, Jill was teammates with Ryan. Ryan finished top 5, I believe, wasn't it, Ryan? For the for the first lobby. So not down and out yet. It's got a decent way back, but not down and out by any means. Asseldor in the Hurricane, who is Auto's teammate, who I think came 4th or 3rd, so he's in with a shout as well. And then the big hitters, Cap, Viking, and Skinsy, either 3 at the forefront. If I was a betting man, I think Viking would be very comfortably odds on to win this entire event from this point. His teammate coming 2nd in the race itself. So Viking not really having a lot of work to do in this one. Just beat Cap, beat Skinsy, and that's about as good as it gets. And well, Viking at the top of tier 1 in our normal Monday tiers should realistically get over the line at the very least. The Viper proving to be a better car than anticipated as well. To the 13 people that have joined us so far, I hope you, if you did watch the first one, I hope you enjoyed the first 2 hours. If you didn't, welcome. We've got another 2, so strap in. It's going to be a long day. But also, while I have him, before we start, I know BX has just put starting soon on the side there, don't forget this is a charity race at the end of the day, and we are all here in the name of Support in Mind. I believe, if I'm right, the link to donate will be somewhere in the description. If in this, I think we were at 970 or so the last time I checked, anyway. And there you go. There's the link just been put in chat for the actual donation to Mind. Great charity. And we would greatly appreciate greatly appreciate any sort of donations or anything that'd take us over the 1,000 goal we had at the start of this event. But for now, we're going. 3, 2, 1, and here we go. BX is starting all of us off in the lead, rolling start. He is, well, got a long way to take advantage of what, well, I say take advantage of a poor clause showing Major, sorry. Oh, Major in the wall! Major already in the wall! Oh, that is not a good start. That is not a good start. He's got damage as well. And in the wall goes the Mazda. It's taken, what, less than a corner for some sort of chaos to unfold already. Yeah, right up into second. Capel in third right now. Iggy closing in just behind there. Look at the tyres. So softs for your right. Mediums, I think that was for BX at the start of this race. Hards for both Capel and for Iggy in third and fourth right now. A little bit of fighting here. Major, Elite and CMP. CMP getting the worst of that though. A little bit of a shove to the outside there as Major on the inside collided with Elite, and CMP is going to lose a couple of positions as a result. He's now fighting side by side with Dude, and we're going to watch that as they head on to the first of the 2 bankings here at Daytona. Also got the Aston Martin fighting behind. We will actually skip to that battle. The Aston Martin and Jill. I'm not entirely sure what car you guys are in. Is that the Honda? Yeah, the Ennis. There you go. Yeah, well, it's doing well enough against this Aston Martin. They're staying side by side for now. Jill just having the small amount of superiority with the inside line into the chicane, but doesn't take any advantage of it. Actually backed out of it. Should have been a lot more aggressive there. Decided not to be, and now we got the bump draft starting with Asseldor into the back of Jill, and now Viking also in 13th, Kep ahead of Skinsy, and as it stands, Viking is in control of his own destiny at the start of this race. We're going to go a little bit further up the grid, dude. I think that CMP and Tap as well. Oh, Capel's might have had a bit of a problem there. Maybe a penalty who's slowed him down, and everyone's just going to go by as we go into turn 1 now. CMP in 7th goes a little bit deep. I think that might be a little bit of forcing of Tap a bit wide there. And either way, it's a little bit of chaos there in the start. CMP also sliding all over the place. Elite. And we've got about a 6-car battle going on here. I think dude just hit into the back of CMP. CMP not going to say no to that, and he's just got clear of the rest of the chasing pack. Elite behind in 7th, Tap ahead of the dude. Those two having a little bit of a rivalry right now, and then you've got Viking alongside Jill and Asseldor as they head down towards the end of the 2nd sector, and Viking on the inside will get the NSX momentarily at the very least, and now the run for the NSX will just get the job done and holding that position. He stays in 10th right now. Asseldor looks to the inside. He's gone deep on both. And I think he's actually managed to hold the position here as well. Yeah, Viking has lost out a number of positions. Asseldor doing a number there. And Capel overtaking as well. So Viking still in 13th. You've got battles here with Ket behind, and Skinsy is tailed off at this point in time. We're going to take a look in the mid-pack still between Jill and Asseldor. A lot of action toward the back, but it's also where we expect most of the people who will be at the front eventually to come through from. And Jill not taking that chicane very well in the slightest. Capel right up on the back now. Let's kind of just take a quick look toward the front, see if anything is happening. BX 2 seconds ahead of right, and those two are very much clear as it stands. Iggy in 3rd, just ahead of Ross, and the Major in 5th. Major hitting the wall turn 1, would have been up beside BX, maybe even clear. Here comes Ross on the outside of Iggy, and he's made that look very easy with the slip, but he's also got very deep and probably gets a penalty for that. There's all 4 tyres over that white line. Let's see if Ross picks up a penalty as a result, or whether or not he managed to get himself slowed down enough. I think he got himself slowed down enough, but he's lost at least 1 position in the process. Here comes Major on the outside. Major still there, and Ross doesn't have to let him back on track, but will do anyway. Probably not the wisest of moves, and Major will, in fact, get that position off Ross eventually. And the Mazda doing a number at the moment. Definitely the fastest car on track. CMP currently in 6th, and will take that. He's wasn't too optimistic going into this race, I think, is the best way of putting it. We're only on lap 3 at the moment, and don't forget, throughout this entire race, we're all doing it for Mind. Don't forget to donate to what a wonderful charity that Mind is in the link that's currently headed in the live chat. And as we go, we've got Major in the Mazda against Iggy in the Genesis, and that is no match. Major up into 3rd and quite a long way off the back of the Porsche, currently sitting in 2nd. We'll get updates, especially at the end, on the timings of everyone, but there's a lot of cars, a lot close to each other. What has happened back here? Oh, another little bit of a collision here between Viking and Asseldor. Asseldor's got a penalty. Viking's up into 9th, Jill in 11th, and Jill will take that position. Tap's dropped to 12th as well. He's not had the greatest of times, and he's got Capel right on the back, and Kepler actually has got Skinsy, and Skinsy is finally involved in this race in some capacity. Oh yeah, and yeah, and it's not exactly like they are like donkeys in the behind him either. You've got people like Tap, who's usually pretty good. Jill in the NXX is going to put up a pretty good fight as well. He's not going to make it easy for anyone. Cap and Skinsy earning a position over Asseldor after the penalty for Asseldor, and Skinsy is going to try and hang this on the outside here against Cap. If he can do this with the inside of the following corner, should not have backed out there. Should not have backed out, but Cap's gone a little bit deep, and now the battle's going to ensue into the following corner. Cap had a chance to kill it. He did not, and Skinsy got a better run. He's on the outside now, though. A little bit deep on the braking. Still alongside against Kep on the outside now. And Skinsey has got past the Tier 1 driver. That is excellently done. And Kep has actually dropped behind Asseldor as well. So a little bit of breathing room there. Skinsey needs to look towards Tap. Capel, Jill. Those guys go in front. Viking now on the back of Elite as well, and see how long Elite can make life difficult for Viking. If he can push him into the into the front bumper here of the NSX, it might go a long way. Yeah, it was a great overtake from Skinsey. That might be a contender for overtake of the day. Most of the grid is on hard tires, so I wouldn't get too worked up on the tyre difference just as of yet. We'll wait and see. Viking, that's not the track. That's gone underneath both the yellow lines. He'll be kind of lucky to get away with that, but he has in fact taken the position nonetheless on Elite, and Elite getting it all wrong against Jill as well, who has switched him back, and Jill has got himself into 9th place, and Elite needs to find a little bit of a rhythm now. You've got CMP in front, actually closing the gap a little bit on Iggy, and we've got 4 or 5 cars raining from 5th down towards Elite here in 10th, pretty close to each other. Everyone split, top 10 split by about 13 seconds through the first 5 laps of this race. Oh yeah, BX started on mediums. He's 3.7 seconds ahead of the soft driver. Yeah, right, at the moment in the Porsche. So BX has a problem though with his teammate, whether it was disconnecting or just playing up gear, playing straight, giving up. Either way, whatever happened, that might be a bit of a problem there for BX. Maybe tacking on a half second or so. It's an entire second actually there for BX. So there goes a lot of that lead. He's about to lose at least 2 seconds to that Porsche in second. But yeah, going back to the point, BX has, well, a gap to open up, because Claus DCing or quitting or whatever, it was about lap 36 or something of that nature. It was early into the first race. It just tacks on a lot of time to what BX needs to make up. And it's just not going to happen. I don't think it is, and he's now 2.5 seconds ahead of right. Only 2 seconds, just shy of 3 seconds actually, ahead of Major in the Mazda. Currently sits in 3rd. Ross 0.8 of a second further back. CMP actually ahead of Iggy. Iggy must have had a little bit of a problem or two, because actually CMP and the dude both got by. CMP up into 5th, dude in 6th, half a second back. Iggy in 7th right now, and well, I don't know if the cars are going to be able to do anything. But Iggy and Viking is a battle we always like to watch. The Tier 1 Titans, the so-called aliens of the server, one apiece in championships on the Monday nights in the last 2 seasons. Let's see if anything can happen. If anything will happen here. Jill in 9th, right on the back of Viking as well. Elite still trying to hang on. He stays in 10th after all this. And then we've got Skinsey in 11th, who's starting slowly but surely on those hard tires to make his way through. He needs to get a large distance to come back to Viking, but there's only 2 cars in the way now. Skinsey clearing the gap. Being in the party with these guys at the beginning, yeah, I would not be at all surprised if on lap 10 you see Skinsey dive straight into the pits. It's good. His strategy is going to mirror Fracas quite a lot. Obviously, those two have done the work throughout the week, try to get themselves in the best position possible, and they have done that quite significantly at this point in time. We've got a little bit of a battle going on. Iggy versus Viking versus Jill. We're actually going to continue watching that. Jill on the inside of Iggy. Jill a little bit deep, maybe forcing Iggy a little bit off the track there even. And yeah, Viking is just going to love that, because if you have Iggy in the middle of you and your closest rival, then yeah, that's usually a very good place to be. And Iggy going down the inside of Jill there did not look in control of his car whatsoever, but Jill basically gifts him the place. Doesn't even bother to fight it. And, well, Iggy's going to take that, push himself back towards Viking. He can't let Viking into too much of a gap here, even if the Genesis is considered a worse car. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the problem for major... Well, I say the problem. It's not really a problem, because when you go down the list, there's only, I think it's 4 cars on the entire grid that is able to sustain a 20-lap plus stint. For some reason, the tyre wear difference between the car is unbelievably different. Going from best to worst anyway. Because you'll see CMP sooner rather than later here time will drop off. You can only do 9 laps on the softs in that GTR, which is an absolute joke. We did. Yes. I don't know, but that doesn't count for his 10-lap stint. I think we will uncover that mystery sooner rather than later. Claus, I could definitely say Claus didn't. I don't think Claus did that earlier. I could be wrong. I could be entirely wrong. Remembering things from 2 hours ago after doing a 2-hour set of racing is not the easiest thing in the world. Yeah, right, and Porsche are currently leading from Ross, who has to try and make up. Well, Ross would be in a significantly better position right now if Skittles hadn't thrown 10 seconds away earlier on in the night in the bus stop chicane, making a mistake. It was about 62 laps through this race. When he did make that mistake, it might end up being a costly one if Ross can put 2 and 2 together here. Because, wow, Ross's car can do 23 laps on mediums, which is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, he's going to do 23 laps on mediums twice over here, and then the rest on a hard and a soft. It'll be about 14, I think, on the soft tire, 10 on the hard, deliberately doing the least you can do. For those who didn't watch the first race and are watching this race, you need to do a single stint of 10 or more laps on each of the compounded tires available. So 10 on the racing softs in a stint, 10 on the racing mediums in a stint, and then 10 on the racing hards in a stint. It looks like Jill and Spectre at the moment going side by side. You will see those who started on the hards with necessarily good tyre wear anyway start to pit from the next lap. Unless you're BX and randomly pit on lap 7 for some reason we don't know yet. We're going through about 8 or 9th on the grid here. Jill and Spectre. Skinsy has in fact caught up to this grid. Lord Asseldor in the background has not. Neither has Cap, who is walking wounded at the moment because, yeah, he is off by a margin. He is currently at least 12 seconds off what would be considered the closest rival on the grid at this point in time. You just cannot be that far so quickly, especially when Skinsy won the race. Well, Skinsy's teammate won the race earlier on. Oh yeah, on the outside now. It looked like Major's tyres are becoming a huge problem because dude got past going into the bus stop chicane. CMP is going to go for this on the outside of the bus stop chicane. Doesn't get it as of yet. Ross has a 5.5-second penalty in front of us, so he'll be dragged into the mix here. But the slipstream, I don't know if Major is going to be able to hold this. His tyres are dead. He is into the pits. That won't count for his 10 lap mediums either. He's gone in on the end of lap 9. So that will not count. He will have to do another medium stint sooner rather than later. Ross is getting in all sorts of battle with the dude now. I can imagine the party going on the opposite side in the GT party between those two as they go through the first sector. CMP and Viking, who currently has the lead of the entire event on the back of these two. And here comes CMP on dude again. It's a battle we've seen from the start of the entire race, and CMP on the outside, now the inside, will have a better run. Can he get a better line with this GTR? Where is the dude going? He's on the grass, and the dude is going to lose out a couple of positions. It's probably cursing CMP out a little bit there in the chat, yeah, it's not the greatest of time there for the dude. And Viking, yet another free position, and if you're Skinsey, this is the last thing you wanted to see. Viking in complete control of everything that is about to happen. Polty did well in the first race. Viking should, in theory, win this one. And this should be smooth sailing, roughly, from this point out in this Dodge Viper. But for now, oh, that might be a penalty. That looked a little bit deep. That looked like he's not going to get away with that. And there's 1.5 seconds for Viking. That was not the greatest way you take the bus stop chicane, and he is punished for it, so he will drop back behind the dude. Will he drop back behind Iggy? More than likely. And Elite has 4... How the hell did Elite get 4 seconds worth of penalties in this? Well, he's going to drop a long way too. He is. Yeah, it's a costly mistake at the end of the day for Viking. You cannot make that much of an error in the bus stop chicane. The game will punish you. You can't get away with the Daytona track limits here. It just does not work. And if Skinsey can keep a clean race, it's going to be a lot more interesting if Viking's going to pull off some more mistakes of that nature. That's fair. Also, the strategies for a couple of guys are definitely differing right now. We are on lap 11. The tyres obviously won't go off as quick unless you're the Mazda for some strange reason. And yeah, the night is definitely having the effect. Obviously, the tyres do not wear anywhere near as much in the night as we're watching Skinsey get closer and closer. It's within a tenth. Will he go for it? Will there be a choice here? He decides not to. So Viking's going to hold on to 6 for now. Iggy the car in front, and that's also not what you would want to be doing. And there's another 1.5 seconds for Viking, and that is not good news. Back-to-back laps where Viking has effectively shot himself in the foot, and now Skinsey is in the lead of the event. Wow. Skinsey up ahead, and he's going to love that. Dude now into the pits. His hards are done. He won't have to go on the hards at all. Jill also got past his Dodge Tier 1 champion. The Dodge in this, for the prior season, is not. The guy driving the Dodge isn't either the Tier 1 champion currently either. The guy involved, Iggy here, won the Tier 1 championship on a Monday night. In this event, however, Skinsey's teammate Fracas won the first event. And, well, Skinsey had the advantage in the second event. The second stint on this event too. So It's not good news here for the Dodge. The Ferrari in control of its own destiny from here on out. Oh. Yeah. Most of it came because the gaps in that in that first lobby, sorry, the one that happened earlier. If you didn't watch that, please do. It would go a long way. But yeah, the gaps in that were substantially higher than they will be in this race. So it's more about fighting position. Skinsey might not get away with that. Jill definitely didn't. Skinsey did. Jill didn't. Jill picks up a second and a half worth of penalty. So that is another position there for Viking. Viking, they're 1.5 seconds back. So once again, it'll be Skinsey followed by Viking in this race. What was the gap between the Dodge and the Ferrari in the first race? Skinsey actually going into the pits now. So did you're right. The best tyre here is probably, you'll see most of this race done on a medium tyre. Whether it's the best tyre here, debatable. But you will more than definitely see a large chunk of this race, unless you're doing maybe a repetitive soft strategy, be done on medium tyres. Like Ross can do 46 of these 70 laps on a medium tyre, 23 on both his medium stints. The car that is the longest of any of the cars that I know of anyway. I don't know about you, right? So yeah, so at this point in time, Skinsey doesn't even have to beat Viking. Viking needs some help. It's not very often you hear a former Tier 1 champion in the position of needing help. So Ross right now, 1.8 seconds out of CMP, who's currently second in this race, going on the long way for the hards at this point in time. Iggy, 2.7 seconds further back there. He's also on the hards, but the tyres are substantially better on CMP's car going through 13. If I was CMP, I would take advantage of this and stretch these hards out for as long as possible. Trust me, it's going to be necessary sooner rather than later. I found that out the hard way. Earlier on, stretch them out and turn the second to last one into a soft stint. Asseldor into the pits now, off of his medium tyre, so he doesn't have to do a medium tyre if he doesn't want to. Viking currently just under 2 seconds behind Iggy and Jill, right on the back of Viking once again. BX, after his pit stop, nearly 4 seconds off the back of Jill, but actually 1.3 seconds ahead of Spectre. And not sure if Spectre hasn't pit, started on the hards. His is about halfway through. We're on about lap 14. It should go well into the 20s at the very least. Major currently on the softs after not doing a qualifying stint on the medium tyre. He will have to do a 10-lap one sooner rather than later. He'll have to do a 10-lap on the soft as well, which is going to be painful, to say the very least, on that Mazda. For Major, it might end up doing enough to severely hamper his race in the long run. You've got Dude here against Kep, who's actually in front of him. And Skinsey going against Kep again. So Kep is on his hard tyres, Skinsey on racing softs. And Dude's on the mediums here. Yeah. To be fair, it's easy to Get yourself into a position. There you go. He bumped him the first time. Open up the opportunity. Oh, that's a little bit of contact. But still, nonetheless, the Ferrari waltzing on through. No challenge at all there. Tyre difference will definitely help in that one. And oh, that might be a little bit risky there from Skinsey. I don't know if the game's going to let him get away with that one. It actually has. And he's going to get away with this. And now has a... I believe that's a McLaren hunt down in front, dude, in the Sky livery, trying to make something work, and has a flying Skinsey behind him in the Ferrari, and Skinsey's going to go for it here. Skinsey's absolutely on the outside, going for it. That door has been shut off very quickly there from the dude. And that is going to do the world a favor here. He shut that door very quickly, very elegantly, and very wisely, I think, but he won't shut the door here. Here comes Skinsey on the inside, and the dude is not going to be able to put up a good enough defense for that one. And Skinsey up into 9th place, and well, right now, actually he's behind Viking. Viking yet to have pit off of the hard tires, right on the back of Iggy, and we're going back to the battle of the Tier 1 Titans in this race. Come. I spent a large chunk of the race on Canada, but it was not on the hard tyre, unfortunately. So I can't speak to the hard tyre. I can speak to the rest of the tyres on that Genesis. The Genesis as a whole is just a abysmal car. I felt sorry for Canada driving earlier. Iggy as well in this position, driving this car is at a severe disadvantage compared to especially Viking, even in the Dodge. Even if that was the second worst car in testing, it's just one thing after another, and that Genesis is absolutely piss poor as a Group 4 car. On a different note, Viking on the inside there, going into the second to last corner before the infield, gets it all right against Iggy and gets in front of Iggy, and Jill is all over the place onto the outer banking, and yeah, well, that's not a good sign when you have to hold the car because you've put way too much power down coming out of that corner going onto the banking, and here comes Iggy. He's going to try and fight back here against Viking. It's within a tenth. Will he go for it? No, he bump drafts instead. And it's all about working together mostly here at Daytona. As soon as you start to work against each other, your times start tumbling down quite drastically. I don't know if BX is going to get away. That looked very drastic to the outside there, but he's going to get away with it nonetheless. It definitely looked like he got a better run than Jill as well, and yeah, BX is using Jill as a little bit of a bump draft at the moment. Nope. It looks like he is very much aware that he has to do 10 laps, and probably aware that he can't actually make 10 laps on this car. So probably, in all likely, just getting that qualifying stint out of the way so he can just move off the softs, do the rest on the medium tyres from here on out, and probably do one more soft at the end of the race when push comes to shove. We've got 4 cars right beside each other here. Elite, Major on their own. Skinsey, clear the dude, clear of Cap. And at this point in time, if I was Skinsey, I would be liking where I am. Because he is a... Gone. That's true. He kept down the inside here on Asseldor. Can he make that stick? He absolutely can. What a move. Kep, who needs to get going and get going quickly, is done fresh. It looks like relatively fresh hards, actually. He needs to get going very quickly, otherwise that Alfa Romeo's race will turn into a disaster with no sight of winning if he doesn't. And he makes a brilliant move there on Asseldor, who's going to fight back in the Huracan pretty much immediately. In the battle for 11th place, and they have got to go after Skindy and after Viking, who are very much in the clear at this point in the race. 17 laps in there, side by side through the chicane here, and Asseldor with the inside line will take that beautifully, and will take that line every single day of the week. Wow, that's... Oh, Asseldor's gone deep! Asseldor has gone deep! That's not going to be taken out of context at all in the upcoming days. But, oh, BX out the pits now. He was away. He had to do his 10 laps. He's come out immediately behind Asseldor and Kep in this battle here. He currently moved onto the medium tyres. We're just looking through. Kep's managed to hold on against Asseldor because of Asseldor's mistakes. Skindy 3 seconds ahead of Dude, who's 9.5 seconds of Kep. Major, who has just got no tyres. Literally no tyres at all. This is actually quite funny how drastic his tyres go off at this point. But he is 1.6 seconds ahead of Skindy and 5 off the back of Elite. Iggy has just lost a little bit of time. Spectre picked up an early penalty in the lap. Iggy is now against Jill. And Viking a little bit in the distance here, as we still have Ross and CMP throughout this race. Those two have been neck and neck and go through the entire way. We're still on lap 18. CMP is doing a very good job, and quite frankly, the only reason why we're not even involved in this conversation for the lead is because I may or may not have screwed up royally on Monday night. But right now, Iggy closing up on Jill. They're both closing up on Viking. Viking at this point in time not really making a lot of moves, just seems to be content with where he is. Iggy on the inside here against Jill, making a move, and oh my god, look at that, on the inside of turn 1, manages to make it stick. The NSX just looking a little bit uncomfortable every now and again, even though his tyres are quite frankly like 50% better. It's just not going the way that Jill may have wanted it against Iggy or against Viking at the moment. And Jill might have thought he had a chance at the beginning of the day. Just needs to get a little bit of a move on now. But at the end of the day as well, when you're going against two of the Titans in the league, you really have to just sit back and pay a little bit of respect. And you know you're going to get a good race. You're going to have to earn your spot here, rather than actually be given it. Jill, a new Tier 1 driver in his own right. And at the front of the grid now, Ross only half a second ahead of CMP, who's closing the gap. Bearing in mind, the first race I beat Skittles by about 12 seconds, so CMP right now would still hold that position over Ross at the end of this one. But I would also prefer if my teammate was able to get by and start to open a little bit of a gap here. Is that the on top of the livery, or am I missing? There we go. No, I didn't in fact see that, as Ross goes a little bit deep there, basically messes up with CMP's line for sure. Forced CMP a little bit wide, and well, Ross is going to hold the position as a result. He's also on the inside here. Major, I think, just did 10 laps on the soft, so I think that's the end of his soft involvement for the day. CMP just looking for a switchback very quickly here. Maybe just about dragged himself alongside, and Ross definitely needed to be aware that CMP was there. The car isn't bad. The tyre wear is god awful on the Nissan, but the car itself is it's frustrating more than anything. I just had a bit of a nightmare on Monday night. Did a bit of a practice from 3 a.m. in the morning last night. Found what I was doing wrong, and did a lot better today. I just apparently didn't. No. I just didn't have any of the right lines. Just none of them. The entire lap was a fallacy. The entire lap was just a joke from start to finish. Big Iggy may have been... Iggy got half a second. Iggy was also overtaken there by the NSX. Viking also clear by about 2 seconds on that NSX. The Nissan's not bad. I've driven it both charity races, actually. We did Group 4 this time last year as well, funny enough. The Bathurst and that probably suited the Group 4s a little bit more than this one does, in all fairness. But either way, I got the Nissan in both of them, and I actually improved on the last one because I didn't spin. It took 70 laps, but I did not spin. I know, unusual for myself. Iggy and Jill heading into the pits. Ross still in the lead by fractions at this point. CMP going to the inside. Can he get it done? Ross on the grass, and then squeezes CMP a little bit. You've got to give the space. He is alongside. Ross now deep into the corner. Will CMP try and switch back him? He absolutely will with the inside line, and it's beautiful. It's a magnificent work of art there from CMP with the switch back on Ross. I am totally not biased. CMP. CMP taking the lead of this race. Ross in second now. Viking, who, well, still has to pit. Skinsey's done 1 pit compared to Viking 0 in that Dodge, but Viking is very close to the front, and you know what that means. When Viking gets really close to the front, that is usually a bad sign, and especially with Iggy being in I don't even think I can call it a car with how bad that Genesis actually is. Yeah, you don't really have a lot of buffer there between anyone and Viking, and that usually means Viking is in the clear. But let's see what Skinsey can come up with. He's currently 17.5 seconds back in this race. Someone just come into the chat and said frack sucks. But in this race nonetheless, well, his teammate is doing pretty well. Yeah. Also, look at that fuel difference between the Nissan GTR and that Dodge Viper, by the way. That is that is mental. The Nissan GTR can be the greatest car to drive at times, but boy, is it bad in its tyre wear and its fucking fuel. I don't know about that. The American cars are... There's definitely a joke what you just said. The American cars are usually the fuel guzzlers in the world of motorsport, that's for sure. The muscle cars really not... just doesn't enjoy fuel, like, at all, when it comes to these cars. But absolutely insane, 23% to 8. And they did the same amount of laps in a car that is supposedly better on fuel. I have no idea how that has happened. Also, I don't know if that's pitting or if that is a penalty on the last 5 laps. I think that makes more sense because the lap times being 54, 54, 54, 54, 53. Yeah, there's certainly more penalties. That's impressive. Yeah, that's it. Something tells me GT is a little bit bugged. Skinsy right now, 1.2 seconds ahead of dude. That gap has actually come down a little bit. Also, yeah, Skinsy's had penalties in the last 5 laps as well. I've done 55s twice. What the? What is? Nah. Everyone has got penalties. Look, everyone has just There you go. Oh, it's disappeared now. GT having a bit of a moment there. Ross currently having a 13-second gap. I don't think it means pit either, to be completely honest with you, especially when they're doing 54s. Something tells me you might be, just a hunch, a little bit slower than that. If you were actually pitting over the period of time, and it's definitely not personal best because the following laps were slower. So I don't know what GT's got in mind. I don't know what GT is telling us there. He's having a bit of a moment. Outlap is a 54 for real. Yeah. I don't think it's followed by I think that would usually follow on mostly like a 206 or something. If it was a pit lane though. Oh yeah, and well, given the fact that he is currently red tires pretty much everywhere, so, yeah, it's maybe a little bit too extended here for Ross. He will pit on this lap, absolutely, because you do the 23 and then you go back in. I don't know whether or not he's going to follow Skittles and whether or not that is a hard or a medium tire going on next. Sorry, because for sure he will be doing soft at the end of this race. Yeah, I think that might be a little bit of a misstep. Why would you voluntarily give up first place without it being, I don't know, for slipstream to second place? Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, definitely Skinsy, however, right now in the lead of the race. With what we saying, is he going to pit off in laps about 209s? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There wasn't an in lap following that. That's my point. And if they had 206 or 209s, yeah, okay, I got that a little bit wrong, just slightly. It was more because he didn't want to fuel in the first pit stop. So he has gone an entire tank of fuel at this point. So he didn't fuel at all on the first stop. That might be a penalty. He didn't fuel at all on the first pit stop, which means he has to then fuel to the amount he wants to do on every following pit stop from here. So it is just a case of when the pit stop gives up. Asseldor really close to BX now as well, looking down the grid at this point in time. Viking is in front of CMP, and that is a fuel-related issue. That's for sure. Definitely nothing wrong with the actual driving here from CMP, but it's unfortunate for him. So you got Iggy on the back as well. Jill, yeah right, a name that we haven't said in a long time in this race anyway. Currently 7 tenths ahead of Tap and a second behind the NSX. Oh yeah, and it's one of those where if you aren't consistent, you usually get done. Like it is usually the one thing that undoes so many drivers here. So for some people, it might be the seated, like the spins. So you talk about myself, and it's all about exercising the demons when it comes to spinning. But some drivers, it's just, oh look, here's 55s, and then a random 2 minute for some reason. That usually undoes it, and it might be the case on the upcoming race here. Well, the upcoming hour, because we're not even halfway through so far. Yeah, you have to be consistent. It's a lot to be consistent for 2 hours straight, but it's necessary to win a race like this. We've got a Tap and you're right, going at each other right now. Also, a couple of people in the oh, sneeze. Apologies for that. A couple of people in chat debating who is and isn't getting promoted based off the Group 4 races. In the group getting promoted in Group 3 based off the Group 4 races, which is an interesting strategy. I'm not sure I would take this race into much account when trying to guess winners for tiers. Nonetheless, and Skinsey has picked off of that soft tyre. The fuel has started to run out. He's done 25. Asseldor also ran out of the fuel as well, and he has now come into pit. So that's two strikes on the board for Skinsey. He's done his hard stint. He's done a soft stint as well. He technically didn't have to use either tyre again for the rest of the race. Yeah, that's my point, Frack, when I was going through everything. He will still be strong in Tier 6, but I don't know if I would say he would get promoted, especially based off this race. There might be a little bit too much stock in this one. He's got CMP currently in 4th, Iggy in 5th, Viking 3 seconds up the road. Iggy's going to look to the inside, or it looked like for a split second he was going to go to the inside as CMP went deep. But CMP holds on to the position. Dude is currently in the lead of this race. And he is in the lead of this race by 11 seconds. Oh yeah, and you're going to expect to see more of that throughout the race, because this Genesis is... yeah, it was a choice. I'll admit, it was a choice, that's for sure. But we're going through. He has gone a fuller set of cars, so that makes more sense. But yeah, as it stands, we've got Dude 10.5 seconds up over the BX. BX currently in second in this race, who's got a 10.5 second gap on Viking. Turkey ended 8th. No, Turkey ended 7th, so he got moves on the final lap. So it's not like the dude is out of this yet. 21 seconds split him and Viking. I don't know where that would put him in terms of actual times. I'm sure Ryan will update us in a minute about where that would leave him. Oh, it's... yeah, a long way. Turkey did a job, but not apparently a good enough job. Dude could realistically win this race and it all be... well, bragging rights for winning a race with multiple Tier 1 drivers is probably better than the bragging rights for actually winning the charity event, if I'm personally honest. Yeah, and now we've got Iggy versus CMP all over again, and this is very much getting into the realm of me and Kanata all over again in the second half of the last race, GTR and a Genesis stood beside each other for the rest of time. And Iggy's got a half-second penalty. I've only just clicked on that one of the guys that were arguing about people being promoted was a Hurricane in chat. That definitely was a given away from the back that it's in the BRZ. I definitely didn't have Keen as part of his YouTube name. Not with it today, I'd say that much. Iggy is getting real close to CMP here, but that's all going to be negated in about 2 seconds' time when he goes up to the penalty line and serves his half second. So we're looking further on, that gap is coming down between BX and the dude, and the same can be said between BX and Viking and BX. CMP is losing time on Viking though, same with Iggy. Jill about 5.5 seconds off of Iggy and 2.5 seconds ahead of Tap. So a little bit of no man's land here for the NSX. Tap equal either side at this point in time. Skinsy comes out in 8th. He is ahead of you right, not by an awful lot, but ahead of you right nonetheless. And Ross currently in 10th as well, which he is 2 seconds behind you right. Those two were fighting at the start, and you right clearly has the win out of that battle at the moment, and 6.5 seconds ahead of Major, who, Jesus Christ, his tyres has not been kind. As for other drivers at the front of the event so far, Asseldor currently in 12th, half a second up on Elite, and you've got Kep who's in 14th, half a second up on Capel, and that means that Kepler has had an absolute nightmare of a day at the office here. That is not good. Your teammate has done a number in trying to put you in the equation, and Kepler has just not got going at all in this race. We're currently watching CMP versus Iggy. That seems to be one of the closer battles currently on the track, and it looks like Iggy's going to try and close this in, but it won't be remotely enough to take care of CMP at the moment. If the tyre wear is at the front, shouldn't you move the brake balance slightly rearward? It wouldn't help as much as you may think, but yes, it would. That's probably a good idea. Yeah, that's fair. That is absolutely fair. I had to put my brake balance in the minuses purely because, quite frankly, I just couldn't keep the car when I kept it where I put it normally, and the times and all that stuff. More superstition maybe, because I was doing well last night with it in the minus of the brake balance, but I kept it and it paid off to a degree earlier. Just kind of wish I gave myself a fighting chance. Didn't do so, unfortunately. But CMP is benefiting from this quite drastically at this point in time, because he is holding off Iggy quite well with 4/10 of a second as they go around the first of the two bankings down towards the bus stop chicane. And CMP is going to be able to hold this with Barr getting a penalty as long as he doesn't make a mistake here. It didn't look proficient through that chicane. A little bit of a misstep, and he'll still be able to hang on against Iggy for the moment in time. We've got S. Kelly in chat asking if he can race the charity event next year. I'll wait and see in a year's time, I guess. We'll come back to us this time in a year, or this time in December, sorry. Oh, Asseldor's out! Asseldor has been... that has to be a disconnect. Asseldor has left the room, and there goes the chance of the Huracan. Oh, no. Ouch. That is a No, the charity event is not a Patreon event. I am not. I'm gonna put myself on the chopping block a little bit here. I don't have the Patreon. But CMP and Iggy are currently fighting here. Iggy on the inside, followed by the outside line in the following corner. They go onto the outer bank. It's not at all a Patreon event. This no, it's a long. If I'm right in saying, I think it's a longevity in the league event more than anything else. In other words, nice. And on that note, I'm going to just go through this battle between CMP and Iggy beforehand. It looked like Iggy actually backed out on the outside line there, and CMP is going to hold on to that for a little bit longer. And with the Genesis straight line speed, it's just going to make it easy for CMP to hold on through this banked corner as well. And while we're on the topic of donations, the link is in the live chat. If you want to donate to Mind, it's a fabulous charity, does a ton of fabulous work. The donation link is there. We're aiming to get to $1,000. That's the aim we set at the start of all this. We're, what, 25-ish away from that? So, it's 49. It's just shy. There you go. We're 49 away from hitting that 1,000 goal. But in the meantime, Dude just pit off of his medium tyres. It leads Viking with an 8-second lead at the front of this race. CMP and Iggy well, CMP, I got distracted by the comments there. I don't know why I did that. CMP fighting with Iggy still, and they're losing time. They're not working with each other here against the hopeful shot of trying to get to Viking. If anything, it might be starting to bring Jill into this a little bit. These two fighting, just hammering tongs the last few laps. And Iggy still losing out to CMP. Will not have the slipstream now unless he decides to tuck in and duck for the slipstream, which he did for a split second there. We're starting to go back to the morning time here in this race. Iggy is closing in on CMP. He's going to have the outside line. He doesn't have the slipstream anymore, and CMP should be able to hold on for just a little bit longer. A little bit of a late switch there for Iggy. A late switch that does not pay off. Oh, that looked a little bit deep, and a little bit of a bump draft as well, which probably helped CMP more than it did Iggy in the end of the day. And, well, that means Iggy is just going to have to hold on for a little bit longer in terms of trying to make the move against CMP. Oh, poor Otto, man. He did 2 hours. Got into the top 4, I'm pretty sure. Just for Hasseldodd's internet to just decide, no, not today. Ouch. Skindy is also 5.5 seconds off this battle. I'm not entirely sure what the hell just happened to Jill. And Skindy is working his way back through again. Viking currently in the lead of this race. CMP and Iggy also in the podium spots for this race as it stands. Don't forget, after this race, we'll take all the times from this one, add them to the times from the first one, and essentially toting up a 4-hour race. We have a yellow flag. What's the yellow flag? It's Iggy and CMP. What has happened here? Iggy has waited up for CMP, so I guess that's probably more telling than anything else. Oh no. Hurricane, thank you for the donation. We're now at 960 quid, 40 quid away from that 1,000 donation, that 1,000 donation goal. CMP is not going to be happy with that, by the way. He was flying in this race. There was a significant chance that he might have been in the in the role of potentially winning this race. But he is, probably going to be a little bit pissed off with that one. Yeah. That's fair. He's now following the strategy that I told him earlier on, which involved the fact that crash or not, he was going in at the end of that lap. It's just unfortunate the crash has taken him quite essentially out of the race. Turned him to the point where as long as we beat Ross, I'm no longer bothered. Skinsey, however, 40 seconds off of Viking. As it stands, if we was to end this at the end of lap 33, an hour into this race or just over, Viking would win this event alongside Polty. However, Skinsey's tyres are in a pretty good shape. Vikings are not. I can't. Yeah. Skinsey's got, I think he's done, what, 7? I want to say that's 7 laps. On maybe 8 on those soft tyres at the moment. I know for a fact he is going to try and push 14. That's a bit deep. There's nothing on the white line there. He's going to avoid it anyway, because I think he's gone slow enough to do so. Regardless, yeah, Viking 13.6 seconds up at the moment. That's about what it was at the start of the lap. Jill 2.9 seconds off of Skinsey. That gap seems to be fluctuating around the same point, if not getting better as it goes along. Viking and Skinsey both started on the hard tyre. They both have done their hard tyre stint. Oh, here comes Dude on tap. A little bit of bad blood brewing between the two of these recently. And Dude gets the move done and moves up into 5th. Iggy is in 4th right now. And 1.5 seconds ahead of the Dude, who's just ahead of the tap. And it's going to be very close by the end of this one, I think. Skinsey's put on a showing against these Tier 1 drivers. I'm not sure I was under the impression that Skinsey was going to be able to hang. I knew he was quick. But I had a feeling that he might have been a bit too off the pace to hang with the top, but he is proving me wrong, Dude. That is not the track. That is the wrong colour tarmac. You don't want to be there. He somehow managed to hold his position against Tap, and Ross also coming up on Tap. Those two teammates from last season, also those two having a little bit of bad blood toward the end of that season. So Hamilton Rosberg kind of things, and we'll see whether or not they've always said off the last couple of months, and definitely maybe playing up the story a little bit more than it actually is. Definitely not to kind of just hold on, well, make to just give a little bit of a different edge to the race, I think is the best way of putting it. BX is 3.1 seconds behind Ross. You're right, further 2.3 back. Elite is in no man's land, and is quite a long way in, and I think he's about to pit as well. Major has no hards left on his car whatsoever, especially on those front. Cap is still in 12th, and quite frankly, just never got going. CMP in last place now behind Capel, and 9 seconds to split the two. That is an unfortunate error from Iggy. It has absolutely trounced any chance the CMP's had in this one, and Dude gets past Iggy on the topic. I feel bad because Iggy was absolutely heaping me with praise on the stream a couple hours ago. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, that tire, the car is just not turning anymore. He has to come in at the end of this lap. I'd like to say, oh, there's a mistake further back. I think Tap may have just got a little bit of the grass. Ross is going to get a little bit closer. Just a little bit. We're about halfway through, and I need a drink. We're about 1 hour and 7 minutes through. I'm just going to take a very quick drink of my water that I had definitely not stashed beside me for this exact reason. It does say. It doesn't matter about the headwind now. That run out of the bus stop chicane has just put any nail in the coffin Tap had from there. Especially if Ross chooses to go for this move instead of actually, you know, just taking it and bump drafting his ex-teammate, trying to get after Iggy, who has to pit, surely, and does so. So does Tap. So there's two into the pits. Ross has now got clean air, not going to be held up by his teammate in the Group 3s last season. Both Ross won the drivers, they won the constructors, was a successful Tier 3 season for them last season. And also, in the entire situation where Ross was being held up by Tap and so forth, BX is here. Just slightly. About 7.5 tenths of a second split the two of them. And how do you see this one going from this point onwards, Ryan? That's fair. They're both on a medium tire. Medium tires that actually advantageous for BX, a little bit less warm. They're going to go, as we get the nice shot of Dude entering the bus stop chicane, they're going to go down pretty much bumper to bumper as they go through into the through the bus stop chicane, and BX has just got an absolute run. He has just absolutely annihilated Ross through that that chicane, and I don't think Ross holds on here somehow, unless BX chooses to bump draft, which he has in fact chose to do. The helper's helping the helpers out, I think, a little bit there. But yeah, BX chose to bump draft Ross for this point in time. I say for this point in time because here comes BX down to the line, past the line, down towards turn 1. And on the inside line, doesn't make too much of a difficult meal of that. And he moves up into 5th. As Ross, I don't think, has too much in the way of a fight back either. Yeah, no, he doesn't. And BX is going to hold on for a little while longer, maybe especially to the banking. We got, yeah, right, going into the end of Sector 1 there as well. Capale now into the pit. CMP up into 9th as it stands. CMP went onto the softs, which is an interesting audible from him in this race. Yeah, and it's now 9.5. It is soft versus mediums, and dead mediums at that. I can't see Viking staying out for much longer, maybe a couple more laps. I reckon he's going to try and go probably to the 40 mark if he can. Yeah. Yeah, and Hurricane asking whether or not, well, assuming whether or not Skinsy set the fastest lap on softs. He did. He's currently on the softs. That's where his stint lies. You can see the screen, the times on the right-hand side of your screen at this very moment. He is currently set at 9.6 behind Viking, and currently 8 seconds, or just shy of 8 seconds clear of third place. He is in, I think, what we would call a comfortable position at this point in time. Whether or not he takes advantage of this very comfortable position he is in, well, we'll find out, I guess, in about just shy of 30, well, just over 30 laps. Had the previous prediction the early on in the 53s. Was that on softs? I believe so. I believe so. I think the 50. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. That definitely does make sense in this one. Yeah, he's got a couple of medium stints, I think, to run still left in this one. He is closing all the way down on Viking now. That was 9.5. It's now just over 8.5. And he also 8.5 clear of Jill. Dude is closing in on Jill as well, as he is about 2.5 seconds. The splits them, and 7 splits Dude and BX. BX has cleared Ross by just over a second and some change. Might want to do a better chicane than but chicane exit than that one, and still somehow better than Ross's. Ross 10 seconds off on the right, who's 25 seconds ahead of CMP, and that crash has done a number. Everyone else at the back. Kep is still 13th. There was no real movement from Kepler in this race at all. And if I'm Whack, I would be a little bit annoyed after that. Oh yeah, and not you're right. Yeah, Whack Jump, sorry, really came into his own right at the end of last season. So even you'll see, you go back on the channel and all the Group 4 races that I have done, and hint, that's going to be coming tomorrow. Coming tomorrow at some point. I've got 2 more of those to do. He wasn't really doing well for the first. Well, he was doing well in quotes because he was second and all that. But in terms of what he's doing now, not even close to it. Right up until Spa last season, he has hit a stride from there and has not looked back. And I think he will absolutely be delighted with what he did earlier on, and probably what he's about to do in Tier 3 too. But yeah, also the gap has come down quite significantly. We checked earlier on, it was 14. We came back, it was 9. It's now 7 between Viking and Skinsy. And at this point in time, into lap 40, and provided Skinsy doesn't make any sort of huge errors in the next 30 laps, it is going in the favour of the Ferrari. It's the unlikely duo of Skinsy and Fracas. Well, you can tell when they're about to come in, especially Skinsy, because the dead giveaway is the fuel. You can tell that he is setting up with the exact amount of fuel he needs every single, just is his stint over the 2 hours. So you can tell he's about to come back in because that fuel is running on empty. BX has just, I think, pitted as well, or just come out of the pits, moreover. And it's now less than 6 seconds. What track was it last year? Skinsey's gone! Skinsey's gone off the track! Oh no! Oh no, he's gone too deep in the bus stop chicane and Skinsey is off the track! Oh, that is what you call shooting yourself in the foot right before his pit stop as well. Oh, that's a costly error. And to answer your question, the track for next year isn't decided. The track last year was Bathurst. You can spot the theme a little bit here, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, it's... Well, technically not, because Viking could do softs to the end. There is a medium stint required in here for Skinsey, but it is going to be the medium tyre that goes on the car for Viking here. Wow. That is a huge swing. So Dude is 11 seconds up on Ross. Ross currently in second. Yeah, right. 12 seconds further back on him when it's all starting to just open up the gaps a little bit here. Skinsey's spin has just dragged him right exactly where he does not want to be. Right beside CMP. Like... Yeah, and that might just be the nail in the coffin, I think. It was too good to be true, and I'm just going to say this now. They were taking the piss out of me, expecting me to spin the entire time. An entire group chat. I mean, I'm one of the guys that haven't spun. I may not have got a good result, may have came ninth, but I didn't spin. I had to get the dig in there, had to. You weren't getting me to not do that. As for excluding the Nordschleife from next year, we're not going to exclude it. We will probably make the decision. Are we not? I don't think we have excluded it in either of the other ones. It's just not been picked. Ryan? Are you gonna elaborate? Yeah, right, come in. I guess we're not doing the Nordschleife next time round then, I guess. I mean, I wouldn't be too against. Yeah, actually, I don't know about that. I sit in a camp where I'm not really or knowing on that one. Yeah, right, literally out of fuel. To the dot, they have 0% fuel left. And, but yeah, they have done the we did Bathurst last year. We did Bathurst last year in the Group 4s. You should be able to hear, Ryan. Why can't you? Should be able to hear Ryan. I have got it on the setting because I'm pretty sure we had the interaction earlier. Can people hear? No, Ryan isn't coming through. Yeah, I was about to say. Hurricane was answering Ryan earlier on, so what the hell's happened here? Also, why did it take him 42 laps for someone to bring this up? That is weird. Oh, Ryan broke it. Ryan broke it. Okay, okay. I'm not going insane. Got it. He was coming through eventually. A bit prior, sorry. Eventually is not the word. Yes, is he coming through? Can someone taking back his $100 donation for failure to provide proper entertainment? Oh god. Right, the top three. Back to the commentary from me anyway for now. Let's see how long it takes Ryan for him to actually figure out what on earth has just happened. So, dude, 40 seconds ahead of Ross. Yeah, but fixing it in his settings would imply that you haven't been able to hear him at all. Innit? I'd rather push butt up. Okay. I'm not going to repeat that. But that needs to be cleared. That comment in itself, that comment in itself just needs to be screenshotted and turned into a server thing now at this point. That is one hell of a comment. But Hurricane was replying the whole time, which implies that he could.
And say, I think Hurricane's the only one. Well,
oh, Major's out. Major's DC'd as well now. Whether or not I believe that's a DC. You can't hear Ryan. That's unfortunate. Pretty sure I set up for. Now you can. Like, what is going on?
That's so weird.
What is going on? CMP's on the hard. Why you gone back to the hards? Why have you gone back to the hards? What are you doing? Don't do that. Don't go back to the hard. Don't do 2 stints on the hard. No, I did not tell you to do that.
I've missed some beautiful analysis.
Not biased at all. So dude's currently 15.5 seconds clear of Ross in second place. He's only 10 ahead of Viking. Viking slowly but surely coming back into his own. Skinsey is, however, 17 seconds off the lead. Off Vikings pace and the lead of the event itself. And that is unfortunate for Skin. One mistake is all it can take realistically to end the hopes, and dreams of a team. The underdog team as well, Fracas and Skinsey. You did not put that down on paper as a winning team coming into this.
I had them as my dark horse, I must say that. I'm proud of that one, but then I got told off by Ross for being an idiot for saying Fracas would win a race. But, you know, here we are. He said, Fracas never wins anything. Probably shouldn't expose him, but that's what he told me.
Fracas, you listening to this? Ross saying that you don't win anything. Well, you can hang this one up in the lurve and kind of just expose Ross for this one.
They weren't quite the words he used, but it was saying something about consistency.
No, we've gone through. Oh God. So we've got Skinsey is 18 seconds now. The gap's just growing, and what was just slowly creeping in for Skinsey is unfortunately heading Fracas' response. But what's happening for Skinsey here is the time is just going in the wrong direction now. He's just given the former Tier 1 champion just too much of a rope, too much of a lead. And Viking has grabbed on to that with a great sense of security at this point. 18 seconds. Dude has gone into the pit, so that means Ross will take the lead of this race. I believe it was about 8 seconds that split him and Viking prior. We'll get another look at that in a minute when Viking eventually goes past Dude, who's going in the pits as it stands, who's going off of the softs onto, I think that might be another set of softs. We'll wait and see. We're just going to take a quick look. Yep, that is another set of softs. We got two of the guys at the front on the medium tire right now. Ross on dead mediums, Viking on fresh mediums. 7.6 currently splits. Ross in the lead of this race, and Viking, who's second. Skinsey a further 18 seconds over the back, but he's going to be fighting with the dude from here on out. Jill is then further 6 seconds behind Skinsey. Is 3.5 seconds. And Jill 3.5 seconds ahead of BX, who apparently doesn't get a camera angle anytime soon. Iggy 4.5 seconds, or 4.2 off of BX. It's currently sat in 7th, but doing well. Would have done a lot better and be a lot higher without the incident earlier on with CMP, who's just not recovered by any means at this point. Tapping 8th right now, 6.9 seconds behind Iggy, and 4.1 ahead of Wright, who's currently in 9th, and 10 seconds ahead of the first double-digit driver, Elite, who's got Cap in 11th. And Cap right now has still not made a move from the start, and not really.
This just shows as well. Cap here on the soft tyres, and he's over half a second slower than his teammate's fastest lap in the other lobby. So he really needs to. I'm not sure what it is that's going on with Caprera in this race, but you just can't find the pace in this Alfa Romeo.
No, you can't. And
And
yeah,
I
not
need
to
switch over my controllers, because after 2-3 hours of practice and 4 hours of being in lobbies, it is getting low. So I'll be a few minutes.
That's fair. But on the same vein, Cap has teamed up with Iggy in the Alfa Romeo Group 3. So yeah, I can't imagine that turning out too well later on. TMP ahead of Capel in last place. So we're going back up the grid. Let's see if we can find anything that's actually within earshot of each other. The answer to that is absolutely not. Closest battle right now is actually this one between Wright and Elite, 9th and 10th. Actually, no, that's Elite and Cap, sorry, for 10th and 11th. So, we are now 1.5 hours on the clock. We're on lap 45 of 71.
Yeah, we got about just under an hour to go, I think. And the gaps are pretty spread out. Sort of everyone in that midfield separated by about 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds. Sort of from the bank, the guy coming onto the bank corner now, back to where Caplero is.
Yeah.
Actually, should we take a look at what the gap is right now in the overall race? So we've got Ross Thorne leading, which will be pretty big for the Jaguar team. And we've got Viking is 4 seconds
Viking
off
is
the pace.
currently, yeah. And then 16 seconds split Viking and a Dude. And that is a lot of grass taken by Viking on the exit of the bus stop chicane. Dude a further 2.3 seconds ahead of Skindy, and that gap is dwindling.
22. Yep. Then we got GGL 9 further back.
8 seconds, yep. 8 seconds split. Skinsy and Jay and Jill, sorry. I don't know why I started that with J. He does not start with a J. And then you've got 3.6 split Jill and BX, and BX then beating Iggy by about 5.5 seconds. Everyone's just seemingly spread out, and that means I'm going to take this opportunity to once again just remind everyone that in live chat, currently just on the top, is the link to the Just Giving, where everyone can go and donate to Mind. We are about 40 quid shy of our goal at the last checking in anyway. Our goal with the grand was about 960. It would mean the world to us if we can hit that grand, and you know, Mind is one hell of a charity. It does a ton of great work and definitely a great cause. Also, Hurricane, the answer to who else is on comms now is Ryan, and we are confused because you were literally conversing with Ryan word for word earlier.
I'm so confused. Where is he? Where is he in this room? What the hell?
I don't know how this has happened. Oh, Skindy has lost another 6/10 of a second. Also, Ross has a dodge staring him down. 1.4 seconds. Now splits Ross and Viking. Yes, RDO.
Yeah. But yeah, in terms of the actual race grid, we have Dodge leading Ferrari by about 8 seconds right now. So, you know, Pyro, you're an experienced commentator, so if there's ever time for a little curse, then you know where to put it. Then we've got Honda 31 seconds behind Ferrari overall, and then after that I'm not 100% sure because I haven't got everyone's data filled in for Aston Martin, Subaru, Nissan, so it looks like Jaguar would probably be next after that.
And then you've got Lord Atado, the Hurricane, who was up there in the DC. So Ross has gone in, so there is no one that could realistically affect Viking right now. apart from Viking. And Viking has been in this position 1,000 times. There's no... I don't see a way this changes. The only way I see this changes is if Skinsey picks up the pace. He's going to have to. He has got to pick up the pace. Dude is trying his best, and Dude is actually... Dude is actually gaining time on Skinsey, and Supercracker, 20 laps later, has finally realised that Major has, in fact, DC'd from the lobby. That's for slower reaction time than auto. That's what that is. RDO is the owner of this entire server. And he's currently the guy on comms with me right now, the other voice you are actually hearing now.
Hey, what's up?
But yeah.
Oh, gosh, I can't believe. But how long was my bike gone for?
I can't tell whether or not they were able to hear you at any point. If the answer is they couldn't hear you at any point, then 42 laps. The real question is, how was that not picked up beforehand? How is it not I'm having half conversations before the entire way through?
I just think you're crazy, man. I just think you're crazy. That was clearly the more obvious explanation out of you.
I mean, he's not CEO, he's literally the owner. To be honest, no, Broadway. Oh, that's brilliant. Anyway, back to the actual race.
Don't worry about it, there's 23 other people who thought the same thing.
23 people who thought I was literally insane. Got it. Do I give off that kind of vibe?
Wasn't Beth commented as well? Like, there you go.
Oh, God. That's brilliant. Right, so Viking currently losing time to Dude, 14.9. Everyone too afraid to say something. You know, I would prefer, I don't know, 40 laps ago for you to have said something. Skinsey currently just about hanging about 3.3 seconds away from the Dude as well, and I think we sit about 18 seconds, I think. Yes, 18 seconds, pretty much to the dot. Which means Viking has a 6-second gap. The gap is coming down by minuscule amounts, but it's a 6-second gap nonetheless.
And the most painful thing here for Skinsey as well will be that he lost 8 seconds in that spin at the end of his previous stint, so he would be in the lead if he could keep the car facing the right way.
Yeah, that's... you know how I was saying earlier about the penalties for Viking and talking about a penalty, Dude has a penalty just in front here, and that might bring him closer to Skinsey. Maybe the slipstream, maybe something could change from there. Yeah, so Skinsey, it's just one of those things where I was talking earlier about Viking getting penalties, and that would routinely shoot a Viking in the foot. No, that spin, if he finishes within 8 seconds, it's the literal definition of shooting yourself in the foot. If you search that up in a dictionary, that's the picture that will come screaming back at you.
The thing is, it's not just with Skinsey either. Fracas as well was having, although he had such an incredible race, he did get a big penalty just sort of with a couple of laps to go. So there's all these little things that could contribute to the underdogs not being able to dethrone Goliath here.
Yeah, and Dude also 1.4 seconds now. So if Skinsey can somehow, in the next, we're currently 21 laps away. Fracas is maintaining his innocence here in chat. So we're currently 21 seconds away from the end of this race. Skinsey needs half a second to get the slipstream on Dude. If he can get himself, this earlier on was a spin, yes. Skinsey's one was a spin, Fracas one was a penalty, and I'm going to have to assume was the bus stop chicane.
Yeah, it was it might have been a mistake at the bus stop chicane, but he lost a couple seconds towards the end of the race at that point. I think Skinsy's best bet here, though, is because, I mean, dude's shown that he can do 53s, which is good pace on these soft tyres. If he can get in the slipstream and can bump draft, I'm sure they'll be able to work together and gain on Viking.
Yeah, it's gonna be that. Oh, dude's got a penalty. Well, there goes that. And that is your commentator's curse, ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry.
Frack says that in fact it was a fat marker that slowed up into the bus stop chicane that actually screwed him out of just shy of 5 seconds, not an actual penalty. Well then, that's probably even worse. So, Skinsy is closing the gap though. They're both on medium tyres. Skinsy has a better wear on his tyres as well. And it's 17.2. We are aware that the gap is in and around 12 seconds. I don't know to the dot what that gap is.
11. In and around 11 seconds.
Oh, in and around 11 seconds.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it is roughly about that. So roughly about the 11-second mark. So it's closing.
He has gained a little bit here.
Yeah,
it was 18 seconds last lap, right?
Yeah, 7/10 in the last lap.
I'm pretty sure the Ferrari's best tyres do seem to be the soft tyres. They've both tried their best to sort of do as much of the race on the softs, and I think the Ferrari does sort of gain more time over the medium tyres compared to the other cars on the grid. So he's gaining more still. Is Viking having a little bit of a mare here, or is Skinsy just absolutely flying?
No, it's the tyre wear difference. That's the difference there, because Viking's tyres, look at it. If you just look at the stream, very quickly, just look at the tyre difference here. It's literally double the bar. At this point in time, they pit on the same lap, if I remember right.
Yes, they did.
So Viking's tyre wear is significantly worse than Skinsy's, and sorry for anybody who doesn't do well with flashing lights for a minute there. Probably should have put a warning on that one before I just flick between them repeatedly. It's about 17.1 now between the two. How is he?
Goes a little bit deep there, Viking again missing the apex of turn one. It's all these little mistakes that could add up.
Yeah.
And it's the hard thing about not racing someone like directly is that you've just got to sort of keep that gap. It's a different skill to winning a tier 1 title under normal circumstances.
Oh yeah, but if anyone's got experience in this, and you do these events and all that stuff, when you're in a position where 9 times out of 10 you're driving against somebody not your pace, Viking has a lot of experience in this situation. Skinsy is draining time right now, but Viking is probably the one guy outside of Iggy I'd probably want in this situation. Tyre wear. Yeah, that Mazda was awful on its tyre wear. I don't understand. I do not understand. And so it's 16.6 now between the two drivers. So we are narrowing it to just under 6-ish seconds that splits them in this race. Now, in this event as a whole. Not this race, 16 that splits them in the race, but Frackers did a good enough job earlier on to give Skinsy the position where he doesn't need to win this race. He just needs to end second and, quite frankly, have Viking not run away with it. But Dude is also closing back in, and all of a sudden we might have a spanner in the works. Will Dude play ball with Skinsy here? If Dude plays ball with Skinsy, Viking might be in trouble. If Dude goes for an overtake, it's game over.
If I'm praying he bump drafts him now. I want this to go right down to the wire. Come on, Dude, you can do it.
It's half a second. They're split by half a second. It's got to be close, these two. Dude and Skinsy, the best of friends. These two both won the Nations Cup last month as well as Team Canada, so you would expect the chemistry to be there. Will the Dude go for it?
Oh, he's not. He's going for it.
And Dude has gone for it. Dude has gone for it. Oh, that throws an entire entire new spanner in the works. Dude is on soft tires as well. Maybe it might be a little bit of a play, maybe a little bit of a use the slipstream maybe, but that, I would have just, I don't know, maybe the dude is not up for teamwork today. Maybe not rooting for the underdog.
I mean, Fracas has just come out with betrayal, and I'm pretty sure it is if they were teammates in the Nations Cup. Skinsy is going to be fuming. Dude's holding him up so much here. You can see Skinsy just not
He's actually
able
gained
to get
time.
on the throttle once he's
1.6
down on the lap, on his best lap.
Yeah, but he has actually gained 3 tenths, 4 tenths now on Viking. It might have worked. If it doesn't work, we can point to this point and be like, why did, like, well, the dude isn't on his team. The dude isn't on his team, and at the end of the day, he doesn't actually owe Skinsy anything. You just think that if you're on the same team as a championship winning team, and they are the championship winning team of the last event, like, you would think there might have been a little bit of, will they work together here? Apparently not. Skinsy is not in the slipstream of dude anymore. The dude is going after Viking. He is going after the tier 1 driver, the guy in cruise control right now. How much did Viking pay the dude? Oh, I do not want to be in that chat if this goes awry.
Very boring race for Jill here, just on his own in the middle of nowhere. BX 8
also,
seconds behind, now pitted as well, so he's got 13 seconds either side of him.
Ross is also 12 seconds back on him in the middle of nowhere. And you mean into DQSR, the DQCSR, dude's quickly crushing Skinsy's race. Oh, if this goes badly. Oh, they're ouch.
I mean, dude's doing decent pace here. Skinsy's going to have to just be the bigger man and bump draft him, I think, because you do gain so much from bump drafting.
Yeah,
if he can get, I mean, it's going to be hard to get in the slipstream with that McLaren. That thing is absolutely rapid. If dude has learned to short shift it, because I know he was revving it out for ages and losing like a second a lap from doing so.
But yeah, see, when you've got this right, and if you're in Skinsy's position, you don't have to make a move, right? You don't have to end second. You don't have to end third. You don't really have to end anywhere as long as you stay within a period of time, right? Fracas gave you the ability to go, okay, I can't win this race, but can I get within that time? And at this point in time, we've seen that the dude has gone by. Skinsy has held his own here, actually, got back into the slip. So maybe, we're saying it's betrayal. Just maybe. Maybe it's a little bit big brain than we may think, because he is using this slip. That time has come down beyond the 16-second mark. Which means we are within 5 seconds, yeah? We are within 5 seconds of the underdog story coming to fruition. Capel has just been lapped by 2 people he's in the same party with.
just to put into perspective there, Supercracker's comment of bump drafting is fun. He was bump drafting me when I was on my hard tires and I was doing 55s on hards. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was getting about a second almost every time we got into the straight just from his bump drafting in the fastest car on the game. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. The dude is just outside of the I know we're very centric focused onto what's happening here, but
I think Viking's coming to lap someone, right? Just
yeah, Viking is actually just about to lap somebody. I'm pretty sure it's Elite actually in front of him, and Elite is not moving.
It's going to help him here actually, the slipstream. But
oh yeah, it is.
Elite does peel off before turn 1, because if he doesn't, it's going to be a big hindrance.
It's 14 seconds now. It's 15.1 between Skinsy and Viking. That was not the greatest of lines in the world. Dude is still within Skinsey is still within the slipstream. Skinsey and Viking came in at the same time. They won't pit at the same time, obviously, but they will probably do one more stint on the softer piece. So, as to where they come out, I don't know if traffic's going to play that much of a factor. I personally think it's going to be this situation here. How long can this happen for?
I think Polty can confirm, but I'd expect Vikings to come in on lap 58 or 59. I think Polty was doing 12 or 13 on the softs. And I'd imagine the tyre wear to be similar between the two teammates. I'm not 100% sure what the Ferrari's like.
The Skinsey can do 14.
14, so we might see Skinsey come in sooner. And I tell you what, if he gets the undercut on Viking, that could be big.
I don't know, because it's not necessarily the undercut here, but he's now bump drafting the dude through the infield of Daytona, not the outfield, the infield. Because dude is now, in fact, holding him up, and he probably doesn't want to be doing that too often. But yeah, if I was Skinsey, I wouldn't actually go in. Obviously, he isn't aware of the fuel situation between the two cars, right? But if I'm Skinsey, I don't know if I'd go for an undercut, because the undercut's not that powerful because of the fuel. Obviously, the fuel cuts it down, and usually over the 2 hours, I was gaining a ton back because I was putting in a lot less fuel than anyone else around me. Viking wanted to do less, and it's max 12. Got it. Skinsey bump drafted is screaming, this is what you should have done. Oh, they're slowing each other going through this. But it is 14.5. 14.5. What was it? 10
tires looking now, though?
Dude's tires are dead.
Oh.
They are. Those softs have very little life left on them. Maybe about 10-ish%, maybe a slight touch more.
I think we must be at the crossover point now between the mediums and softs. Although the medium, that rear right is going to be quite limiting for Skinsey as well, to be fair.
Yep. It's just... Oh, I don't know whether or not this is hindering or benefiting Skinsey. Viking has lost 4 seconds in 5 laps. You are right, and it is to do with the slipstream that Skinsey is being given. It's just whether or not that slipstream is outweighing this. Because at the end of the day, when you go through the infield here, if you're stuck behind somebody, you will lose time, and Viking is losing time because, wow. I don't think I need to realistically say anything about Viking's tyres. How is he getting to 12 laps left?
Oh, yeah.
How is he getting to 12 laps? He's not getting to 12.
He's going to have to pick next time. He's going to probably try and do one more, surely. If the softs do 12, he's going to have to do one more. And he's going to lose a lot of time on those 2 laps.
And all of a sudden, we've had the last 5 laps, and Skinsey, using the slipstream of the dude, has managed to cut this down from an 18.5-second gap to a 13-second gap. And now we've been keeping a tab on this the entire time. It was, 10.8 seconds, I think, with the actual number.
Yeah, but I can get the exact number down to 3 digits if you want.
Yes, please. As it stands, it is about 2.5 seconds. If Skinsey didn't crash earlier on, Skinsey would have won this event with fracas. Whether he won the race or not, it would have been to be seen. But would he have actually... Oh, Skinsey, is he looking for it? He's on the outside. Dude comes across and cuts it off.
So I'm curious to see if dude lets him go here.
I don't think he does. He doesn't. They don't do it through turn 1. It is 12.3, 12.2. Viking did not pit. And he has lost another second. Viking is going to have quite literally the stint of a lifetime here on this soft tyre. I don't understand why he did not pit 2 laps ago just to ride out the mediums. He's done his softs.
It was 10.731. The gap.
10.731.
So that's the magic number. We've got, 1.5 seconds
Yep,
Less than, just
12.0.
over 1 second now.
Here we go.
Vikings tyres are dead. You know they're red bricks
Yep,
right now.
yep. And you know for a fact that this is going to come right down to the end because there is another stint coming. At least for Viking. There is also another stint coming for Skinsey because that fuel, those medium tyres, they ain't doing it.
We might see the top 3 all pit on this lap.
Dude going against Skinsey and dude, getting the bump draft this time. Coming into the bus stop chicane, dude cannot afford to keep get this wrong because the more he gets this wrong, the more of a betrayal it is on his friend over here. But one of his best mates, Capello, is there trying to lap himself, I guess. Here we go. Bump drafting round the corner. It's 11.4. It is under 11.4. It is now a Viking pit stop. Viking is going to have to go for one hell of a last stint. Is there a pit stop coming for the dude? There is a pit stop coming for the dude, and Skinsey stays out. The undercut coming here for Viking. I'm not sure it will play much advantage because the fuel is going to be significantly less that Skinsey has to put in. So those will cancel out. It was about 7/10 of a second. 7/10 of a second. I would not like to be Paulie or Fracas watching this race right now. 7/10.
Go on board here, right? See how good this lap is from Skinsey because this is the most pressure situation you're going to get.
He is out of fuel. He is 5.5, nearly 6/10 down on his best lap. His best lap being that 52.9. He's on target for a mid-53. A mid-53 might not be good enough given the Viking has just gone on to soft tyres for the end of this race. He has also put in the required amount of fuel. Wow. There's no underfueling.
Just dropped.
26 is the time right now. Bearing in mind that is also adding on 10.731 seconds. It's going about the 37-second mark right now. Can he do it? Can he do it? Will Skinsey win this event? It's all on the shoulders of the Nation Cup champion right now.
Sure, Skinsey has done pretty well this lap. It was 26.4 when Viking first came out the pits.
It's 25.6
so
now. It's 8
seconds. Well, probably about a second after the chicane. Actually, the Ferrari is quicker in a straight line as well, so he might have kept it close enough to take advantage of
Viking actually losing time. Viking currently losing time. It's jumped from 25.6 to 25.9. And there he goes. There he goes through the chicane. And here comes Skinsey. Here comes the moment of truth. Who is coming out? Well, Viking will come out in front, but who will come out in the lead of the event itself? Who is going to do it? Viking. We're going to stay on him. He's coming around the final back corner, down to the line, onto lap 60. Skinsey has not made the tire switching yet, and he hasn't gone and put any fuel in. The soft tires will go on the Ferrari. Viking has just gone.
To see where Skinsey comes out in comparison to the dude as well, because obviously they were literally on top of each other before the pit stops.
And here we go, the fuel going
carry on.
The fuel going in. Why?
It doesn't update yet.
He got medium tyres on. Oh no, it hasn't. He's got softs. There you go. Yeah,
it doesn't update until they
it is right behind the dude. Right behind him. Right behind him. 2/10. I switched on and it was literally in there and it put full bars on the mediums, which is what got me confused.
Yeah,
here we go.
In like a recent update, but yeah, it doesn't seem to change it until afterwards.
Yeah. Also, as it stands, 13.5. That is the number. That is the number we currently have on the screen on lap number 60. We are going 71 laps. So how long does Skinsey trust the dude? How long will he take this slipstream? How long did he go before, fuck it, I need this time?
Also, we do need a massive shout out to the dude here as well. He didn't have the best qualifying, sort of mid-pack, but he's shown absolutely tremendous pace here. P2 in his own right, and has probably brought the McLaren team up to P4 as well, which is an incredible performance for him.
Oh, that looked like Skinty was going for that. That looked like Skinty looked, at the very least, looked for it against Dude. It's very clear that Skinty might be wanting something sooner rather than later. Oh, this is going to be close. No gain. No gain on Viking this lap. Bearing in mind, he doesn't need the 13 seconds. He needs 2. And some change. Oh, what time do you call it quits? At what time do you quit using this slipstream? It is now 30.1. The time is coming down. That's 3 tenths in a straight. Oh, it is going back up. I think the dude, if there's any sort of strategy here, if they're in the same chat, well, they are in the same chat. If they are talking to each other right now, it's got to be, dude, get the fuck out of my way. This infield, he's holding him up. He is holding him up the entire way through.
We know the Dodge is quicker than the Ferrari in the infield in general as well.
Yep, and it also has worse tyre wear. So going towards lap 70, lap 71 is another chance to maybe swing the momentum yet again. I'm just going through and seeing if there's any gaps for us to actually talk about outside of the massive one, of course. This is way too close. And Skinsy's going to be looking at this. He's going to go through this 2 hours, and if he doesn't get that time, and he manages to lose by less than 8 seconds, he's going to look back on that spin. And he's going to be asking, what if? Skinsy with a real chance to go for a double crown here on the off-season. He's got a real chance here, dude. And the time is just getting deeper. It's 13.8 now. They've lost 7 tenths of a second. He has got to get. He's got to get past the dude. He has to. I know the slipstream helps, but he's got to use it. And here he comes down the inside. He needs 2 seconds. He needs 3 seconds now, actually. And Skinsy on the inside gets it. And he gets himself into second, but he got deep!
Oh, he's got deep!
He's got deep, but the time is just mounting against him now. And the dude is still here. And the dude is still going to fight him. On the outside of the dude against Skinsy on the inside with, what, about 9 laps left on the clock. We've gone now. We've hit the 2-hour mark now on this race. It has been exhilarating the entire way through. 40.6 is just Viking heaping on the time, and he needs to do it because the tyres will come back to Skinsy before the end of this race. It's just a case of whether it's too much. Has he left it too little too late? It's 14.7. If Skinsy gets down to 10.731, we have a tie. If he gets down to 10.730, Skinsy and Fracas win this championship. It is
what happens if it
as simple as that.
10.731 though?
Also, the other drivers having a stroll around the track. That is very...
There's nobody else here. It's just these 2.
Also, Elite has 2.5 worth of penalties. The slipstream might come back into effect unless Spectre's going to drop off all the way to behind these two. Skinsy might be able to get some help. Is the dude going to bump draft him? Are we going to see one last act of betrayal? No, we are not. He's bump drafted him. And in goes Skinsy, who's got to 40.2. There's 6 tenths of a second in a lap. We have what? We're on lap 63, so I think that's, 8 to go now? It is me and Ardio. Ryan is what I'll call him, because that's what I always call him. But yeah, it's just, it's just so close. So how do you see this going?
I think Viking is gonna have to make a mistake to lose this. To be honest, I think Skinsey just doesn't quite have enough. I know he's got fastest lap, but I can't. He doesn't seem to be. What was his previous laps here? It doesn't seem like he's quite.
He did a
Close to those
54th lap
52s.
compared to the
Yeah, whereas-
53.7.
Oh, yeah.
Skinsey needs to hope the tyres fall off. I think that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Also, the
He's three
time come
tenths
back
down
down.
here again.
Time come back down, 14.2. He is now
What?
within 3.5 seconds.
I keep thinking Skinsey's 3 tenths off his last lap, but he's not. He's 3 tenths off that 52.9, which I don't know where it looks like it was slipstream based on his time here, where he got that 52.9. But yeah, he needs another perfect lap like that. Obviously, we know he's got it in him, and I think he's going to need one or two of those to have a chance. That
He
might be
might
a
still
penalty,
need.
you know.
I'm not sure. I think he's waddled his way out of that one. I think. Yeah, he has. I still think he needs some help. I don't know what the help is specifically. Whether it be Vikings tires falling off, or the dude who should be just ramming straight into the back of this Ferrari right now. If he'd got any sort of friendship to him, he should be ramming straight into the back of that Ferrari. Until now, when don't do that now, that might actually end the race. It's 13.9,
Oh, he's
and
gone
then
deep
turn
again.
1, he's gone deep. It's just, he cannot handle that turn 1. That turn 1 has just handed Viking back 5 tenths. Oh, it's so close. It's the tyre wear majorly in the direction of the Ferrari right now. 53.6 on the last lap compared to a 53.5. It was another 10th lumped on from Viking.
I think we'll start to see sort of in around 2 or 3 laps, Skinsey will probably start to get the pace advantage because of the tyre wear, but I don't know if it's going to be enough.
Is it 3 seconds? That's the real question.
I don't know.
That this entire race, this is what we wanted, isn't it? It's going to come down to lap 70 and 71, no mistakes permitted. Obviously.
This is looking like a mid 53 from Skinsey, 2 tenths down, sorry, which is what he was on his previous lap at this point. So yeah, around a mid 53
so
again, potentially.
He's brought it down, by the way. It's going to be mid to low 53. It's only 4 tenths. He's a tenth quicker than he was on the last lap. We are now within 14 seconds. Sorry. It is coming down until he hit the bus stop chicane, and then Viking gained 2 tenths immediately. Okay, I guess not. It's so
still
close,
a good lap from
isn't
him,
it?
though. He's only 4 tenths down.
And Viking 53.8.
I think we'll see a 53.6 here from Skinsey again.
Yeah, I think Skinsey may have just eked in a little bit into the distance, into the gap at this point. Skinsey 53.6. There's 2 tenths. That is 2 tenths off the time. If he did that the entire way, that would be not enough. And dude's gone. Dude has gone down the inside. And dude has taken the position off of Skinsey again, and then gives it straight back. What was that? Oh my God! Oh no! Oh no! Oh dude! He said that. He may have just put the last nail in the coffin, the dagger in the heart of Skinsey's dreams, and Fracas might be living in that one.
Skinsey's first stint, he was getting 53 2.5 warm tyres. That's what pressure does to you, and it was night time. I don't know if that makes a difference in terms of the traction you get, but yeah, that's just crazy. He's lost another second
sending
here
it.
just from the
Dude sending it into turn 1. I think he just missed his breaking point. The Team Canada at each other's throats in the last stages of this charity race. Oh my God. Oh, that might have been one very... I mean, at the end of the day, we're talking... We say this because Dude and Skinsey are great friends. But in the grand scheme of things, the Dude doesn't owe Skinsey shit. And now he's got a 1.5 second penalty, so he's gone. The Dude doesn't owe Skinsey anything. But has that just put the last nail in the coffin? Has that done it? Has Viking got the dude realistically to thank? I say realistically to thank as if Skinsey didn't spin away 8 seconds earlier in this race on soft tyres. Oh, that is... It's not going down. It's just going up. It's 15.1. Bearing in mind the special number here is 10.731. He needs effectively 4 seconds. Vikings tires are, they're still there. They're worn, but they're still there. They're gonna fall off right before, like right about 70. And that's where it's gonna come back to Skinsey, and Skinsey has got to get this right.
So I think if Viking can keep in the 53s for a couple more laps, I think that will be pretty much good enough.
The tires,
camera shot.
The tires is exactly. It is all this is going to come down to, right? Viking is undoubtedly the quicker driver. We don't have to dispute that. Just go and look at him Monday night. But Skinsey, you cannot underestimate the sheer will of somebody with nothing to lose. You cannot underestimate that. Viking just gained another 2 tenths through that bus stop chicane. You cannot underestimate somebody who is now in the region of, fuck it, I have nothing else to lose. I have to leave everything on the table here.
Also, we saw Skinsey was doing 53.2s on half-one tyres. They did have a tailwind before, didn't they? I think right at the start of the race. It's now a headwind, so this is the worst wind for lap time. So we would expect the lap times to be slower right now. 6 meters per second headwind down the main straight. Like, it's mental that these guys are still doing 53s.
54.3 in the last lap there. 53.9 for Viking, and the 4 tenths is just he's just heaping the time on. He's just taking advantage of what he has now, Viking, to just bury Skinsey as much as he physically can. He has to. He has to take the time while he's got tyres, because he still has that, and bury him. Viking has to make sure that these last 2 laps do not matter. And there's not a single other person outside of Iggy that I would rather have in that position than Viking right now. And it's the exact position that Viking is in the Dodge. And unfortunately for Skinsey, it is Viking in that Dodge. It is coming down though, 3 tenths of a second on this lap, going on to the first banking. Lap 67. We're about 4 seconds just over whether or not he's going to be able to do this. The underdog story has come so far. But has it not gone far enough? We'll answer that in about 4 laps. It's about 15 seconds. It's just... He's going to get 2 or 3 laps where Skinsey's going to have it all his own way.
I think something that might be another little late twist of the tail. Viking has traffic ahead of him on the map, it looks like, right? Yeah, just 2-3 seconds
corner.
up the road.
There's
someone here, I'm not sure who it's going to be.
That is actually Capel. And that's going to throw another spanner in the works, because as we saw, we would keep harping on about Dude and Skinsey. They're in the same chat, they're friends. They're Nation Cup champions, they were in the same team. That's your 3rd member. Will he do Skinsey a favour? Because, yes, you can be blue flagged. That does not mean you have to give the position immediately. You just have to give it as soon as possible.
I mean, Viking will be praying he gets into the slipstream here, won't he? But I think he's too far back. But it's going to be next lap where in the infield, if he loses time or not.
14.6, by the way. There's another 6 tenths of a second out of the time. We are slowly heading in the direction where Vikings tyres are coming off the car and Skinsey's tyres are entering his prime. Oh, it's gonna be close. It's gonna be very, very close. Will he do it? He has brought it 7 tenths on the on this lap. It is now a 14.2. He one more time. A reminder is the 7.31. That is 10.731. That is the number we are looking at. That is the number we are looking at. That is the number to beat on both sides of the scale. Skinsey has to get within that number. Viking has to maintain what he has now. It is 40.5. Kelly saying, what is what? Cry. If the answer isn't cry, I don't know what the hell it is. This man has no soul if the answer to that is not cry. It's on lap 69, nice. Of this race.
It's a 53.6 last lap for Skinsey. That's what he needs more of.
It's a
That's an incredible
54.1.
lap under this pressure.
54.1 for Viking. It was 5 tenths off the time. It's now a 14.1. Can Skinsey?
Oh, God.
Just about
get
it.
Into the grass there.
He's got it within 14. Or had done for a split second until he went deep. He went deep. The time was there. There's 3 laps, 2.5 laps now technically on the clock. We are now 2.25 hours through the second stint of this, well, essentially 4.5 hour charity race. And my God, we should do more events with driver swaps. I'm loving this. I think we can say this has been a resounding success. Maybe not the. I don't know. I've enjoyed, especially commentating on this. 14.1. He's gonna get it within 14 again. Oh, it's gonna be close. Vikings tires are gone. Vikings tires are off. It's it. That's it. There are. Yeah, that is a full bar of red.
Oh. It's 3.4 seconds right now. 1.7 seconds a lap he needs, Skinsey.
And Viking has 3 dead tires. He doesn't have 1. He doesn't have 2. He has 3. Vikings tires. And he got deep. He's in the grass. He's in the grass. He's in the grass on turn 1 of lap 70. Never mind Vikings tires. Viking is not on the tarmac. They both have the fuel to go for 2 laps. Can Skinsey get it within? It is 13.4. That was an entire second off the clock. An entire second.
He's still going to have dirty tyres now as well, so it's 2
and
seconds
it's 12,
down. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, 12.5. 12.5. 12.4. Mic sounds great. Yeah, I know it's clipping. Don't bother me.
Just to put into perspective how good this stint from Skinsey has been, and the Viking as well, to be fair, the dude was doing some incredible pace, and he's put out 6 seconds in the past 4 or 5 laps.
Oh, and it's a second. We are now within 1 second. We have 1.5 laps to go.
Half a second.
Half a second. And half a second left on the clock. 11.3. 11.2. Viking has a penalty. Viking has a penalty. Viking has a penalty. It's over. It's over. Skinsey's done it. He's actually done it.
Don't jinx him, Pyro.
Viking's got a half-second penalty. He's 3 seconds down on his prior lap.
Oh my God.
It's 11.1, and now it's going to come down because Skinsey is about to roll through the penalty line. It's now within 11 seconds. It's now within 11 seconds. He's brought the time down. It's within 10 points. He's done it. He's within the time. He is within the time. 10.4 on the clock. 10.2. Tier 1 former champion versus Skinsey Tier 3. And quite frankly, wouldn't it a title change? It's 9.5. 9.4. And now this is it. It is 1 lap for greatness. One lap where Skinsey makes one mistake, it's over. If Skinsey does not make a mistake, it's in his hands. Will he get to the line? Can he avoid that one mistake he made earlier on in this same race on the final lap of his soft stint where he span 8 seconds away? He span 8 seconds away of time.
Just to put this into perspective, this is a Ferrari car driven by, in the first race, Fracas, a Tier 5 driver who, correct me if I'm wrong, but has won 1 race in his ALR career. Won his second here, 70 laps of Daytona.
The fuel is fine.
And now Skinsey, a Tier 3 driver.
Yeah, the fuel is fine. The fuel is fine on both cars. They have half a lap left to go. Viking is well aware of his situation. There is one corner now that could end everything. Skinsey has one chicane standing between him and greatness. Between him and slaying the Goliath. He's gone through. He might want to avoid a penalty there. Has he avoided the penalty there? He's safe on the car. There is no penalty. He is through the final corner. He is through the final obstacle in this race. 71 laps. And it's going in the direction of the Ferrari. David has slain the Goliath. He has gone and done it. The Tier 5 and the Tier 3 outlast a Tier 1 champion. Ferrari have gone over the line, even with an 8-second spin. Skinsey, with arguably the best drive I have ever seen him do, gets that car over the line, dragged its lifeless corpse over that line, and David has slain Goliath. What a race.
Viking is absolutely fuming.
Skinsey is a double crown champion. Skinsey has pulled out a blinder of a drive after that spin. Also, absolute credit to Fracas, opened the gap in the first place, got 10 on Polty in the last race. That is your underdog story, and that is how you start 2024. Wow.
Yeah, 500 miles driven in total and 2.5 second win. Is that right? 2.5 seconds over almost 5 hours of driving.
Wow. Skinsey and Fracas, the one team you would not have put money on if you were a betting man going into the day, have done it. A Tier 3, a Tier 5 have gone over the line. They have beaten a Tier 3 driver and a former Tier 1 champion. I just want to just emphasize that last sentence. A Tier 5 and a Tier 3 have outlasted a favourite for the Tier 3 title and a former Tier 1 champion.
And favourite for this season's Tier 1 title as well. Viking's been predicted the most to take back his crown from Iggy. And I can't believe that, to be honest. There was a 5-second gap with about 4 laps to go.
I did say it. I pointed out the entire time. This entire race would go down to how well Viking could manage that Dodgers tyres on 70 and 71, because it was always going to come back to Skinsey. It was a case of how much. And the answer is enough to win it. The answer is enough to win by 2.5 seconds over a 500-mile distance. I don't think anyone properly understands the significance of those numbers. Viking left. I can't imagine why. I would be absolutely livid. Whether it be at myself, teammate, or whatever, everyone would be getting it right now.
I
Wow.
don't have the race results. Can you get the race results up on screen?
It's on my screen right now. I don't have Vikings. Viking quit.
He was...
Viking was 8 seconds plus 8 point something seconds clear.
We'll just call it 8. Wow. Alright, let me fill these all in then, and we can see the full lineup. So we got GJL next.
Wow. We're just getting the results, everything, just to make confirmation I haven't jumped the gun. But oh my god. What a night. And before everyone goes, I know there's still 26 people in the stream. I just want to say, thank you for everyone for tuning in. There's still a link at the top of the screen. Top of your screen, if you're on phone, on top of the live chat, anywhere else. That has the link to to the Just Giving page for Mind. And if you appreciate what we've just brought to you, everything that we've just done for the last, 4.5 hours, plus the days put into practice, it would be appreciated.
Weeks and months put into session.
It would be appreciated if we could get some donations, hit that 1,000 quid goal, and round the night off on a high. Because I know I had fun. I hope you guys did too.
40 quid off the goal. I'm sure if we don't get it, then I'm sure we'll be able to get some money in the budget to match it and to hit the goal. But it would be nice if we can hit it on its own merit, obviously. Kepler's time, and then I'm done with this page.
Wow. I did not think that I would be sat here 5 hours since the start of this.
Next page, please.
Yeah, since the start of this race. 5 hours since we started this whole fiasco. And we have done this, and everything has come down to 2.5 seconds. Normally, you'd be thinking, oh yeah, it came down 2.5 seconds. And you go through the teams, and you would think that it was Iggy and Viking. You know, the standard Tier 1 heavyweight clashes, that will resume on Monday. That wasn't the case tonight. Tonight, we witnessed one of the greatest stories ever told in this league. I'm glad I was able to be the one that took it over the line.
And me for the last 30 laps.
I had my instinct lap 30, lap 42 for some reason. I don't know what the hell happened there. I still don't know how Hurricane was replying to your literal every single word.
I thought, yeah, I don't know. Alright, so in terms of the final leaderboard, we have Ferrari, who won, finishing, let me just subtract the 8 from all of them, actually, so I have the actual gaps rather than 8 minus everything, if that makes sense. So yeah, we have Ferrari with the win, Dodge, who finished 2.7 seconds behind, Honda in third, finishing 1 minute and 10 seconds behind, just showing how mental it was that these two teams were so closely matched. McLaren 14 seconds behind Honda in fourth, Alfa Romeo finishing 1 minute 36 behind the lead in fifth. Then we have Lamborghini, followed by Aston Martin, Jaguar, Porsche, Nissan, Subaru, Genesis, Hyundai, Lexus and Mazda round out the grids.
Otto just said, screw Belgian internet connection. What a night. What a night. There you go, everyone. That was your final results.
Apparently,
it's over the
Jill's
1K.
made.
We've hit it. we hit it. And that... Do you want to go and get up who was the last one to tip that to the guy that tipped that
he was
over?
Batman. BX Royal, the legend. What a goat.
Let's go.
We're actually on
BX, man.
£999 and 70p.
Oh, somebody go donate 30 pence. That's okay for me. I don't care.
It's yeah.
I'm not even willing to bite the pennies on this one. That's good enough for me. Wow. We hit the K. We put up 5 hours of some of the best racing that I've been a part of. And I think that might be the best way to finish this off. Don't forget, donations, I'm assuming, will stay open. We've got the K, but I'm assuming they will stay open for a little while longer if anyone else wants to put some money forth. But...
Yeah, it stays open for 6 months, I think, after the event, before the website closes.
Nice. But yeah, you had, man, 6 months, and everything going on. That was the best way to end it. I've been Pyro. He's been RDO since the 42nd lap. And I guess we'll see you all back on this channel on Monday night. In a bit.